Typically, when you start an anime, you already have a good idea of what you're getting yourself into, so you'll go through it going, hey, yeah, I really like Power Rangers and stuff, I hope these two get together. Oh, okay, that guy's based on the wall. Oh, no. Yeah, see, sometimes the anime will do a complete 180 and go from an anime about exploring a big hole in the ground to violating the Geneva Conventions in real time. In the case of Go-Go Loser Ranger, also known as Ranger Reject, the heel turn is much less abrupt, as you can kinda see it coming from a mile away, and much in the same way as Dungeon Meshi that I talked about last video, watch it next, it doesn't suddenly shift into something it's not, and just builds upon what it's set up since the beginning, because you could tell this guy was a scumbag before he turned someone into face, and that she's my new queen. The anime fools you by starting with the Super Sentai Power Ranger warriors throwing down with a gang of goons on live television, putting on a show for kids, and ranking in the cash from all the publicity they're getting as they absolutely dominate their fodder opponents. So of course, in response to that, this guy turns into a truck, yeah, I don't get it either, and the Rangers decide the best counter strategy is to link arms and run directly at it. Okay, maybe dominate was the wrong word. A lot of stuff happens before and after that, but it ends up that rather than being about the Power Rangers and their zany adventures as the title and episode may imply, the anime actually follows a disgruntled grunt who wants to shake things up after being subjected to the torment that is watching your opponent get new pose on you and then win.
What the is this piece of shit?
Fodder D, the grunt in question and our main character, is tired of being forced to lose against his spandex-clad oppressors every single Sunday, when his group's original intention was to take over the world 13 years ago. Japan sure has an odd obsession with that number, thus he decides he'll no longer honor the truce forged by the two groups, which details that the Rangers won't mercilessly slaughter the fodder if they continue to play along with the act, and that he'll instead put an end to the Rangers himself, which is something I wholly believe our very own Fodder D can do. In reality, Fodder D is a lot like myself, a loser with no future. A hopeful optimist that believes things can be changed by murdering all of your problems, just without the optimist part. Fortunately for our resident loser D, yes that's his real name, the Rangers are all either insane or horrible people, so it's easy to root for him despite his goal and personality, especially when he's helped by the best bro in all of anime, like dude literally cuts his hand off for his homie. And the best girl this season, both of whom want to change the organization ran by the Rangers for their own reasons, with the series primarily following just how they go about doing so while shifting focus between the mystery of how it all came to be, the real personalities of the supposed superheroes, and whether or not you'll fold to the Dami Mommy. While that premise may sound exceedingly amusing already, the writing is so good that it pulls it all together and then adds on even more on top of that, handling literary techniques with such depth that it's able to both shrewdly foreshadow coming events while mixing in an air of mystique, and balance the careful act between tension and comedy, upping the intensity in one scene to have you at the edge of your seat, to the very next scene having D be a goofy goober and not feel like you just experienced whiplash. The particular way in which D is written also helps to facilitate this, because his character is both one that begs to be bullied and put in silly situations, yet is also one that you want to see grow throughout the series to live up to his ideals, and the confident way in which he spouts his goals doesn't immediately give way to the fact that he's a loser, so the series uses that to its advantage to cleverly subvert your expectations before turning around and making him the butt of the joke to make it even funnier.
Check this out. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
This dichotomy works so well because it makes it difficult to guess where the story is gonna go next and how exactly D will get out of any situation he's put in. Because although he and the other fodder are immortal and can only be killed by the artifacts the Rangers possess, the anime does a great job of constantly tempering what you expect from him.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it.
Thus it creates a sense of danger and urgency in every scene despite that ability, and it's likewise a type of character writing that you don't often see, because not only does it lead to characters like Best Girl who exist almost solely to bully D, it also toes the fine line of making someone likable and bullyable, similar to characters like Marcio from Dungeon Meshi or Subaru from ReZero, which is not an easy feat to accomplish without coming off as mean-spiritedly dancing all over D's self-respect. Yet Ranger Reject hits the nail on the head with D and then goes even further beyond by using his antics as a vehicle to deliver deeper messages through the other characters, such as his fellow fodder feeling empty inside despite making children happy because they're not doing anything that makes them happy. And that's very relatable to many people in real life who also feel like they lack a purpose, which is something the author is acutely aware of because they consistently use these situations to commentate on real societal issues. It's great storytelling told in a way that's rarely seen done correctly, and the glue that holds it all together is the meticulousness put into every little aspect of the series, as even the character designs of the main trio are intentional in every little detail, such as D taking on a generic appearance to display his inner fodder pride, the Oshinoko starting gun being given to Best Bro so that you feel uncomfortable despite his typical demeanor, and even the dead, soulless eyes of Best Girl, I don't know their names, to illustrate her true nature, both of which contrast well with the innocent D, whose eyes burn bright like the sun to represent just that. Just like you subscribing.
I hit rock bottom.
The cherry on top is that the production itself absolutely oozes style on every scene, perfectly matching the identity of both the original source material and what it's parodying, allowing it to stand amongst its peers because of such cohesion between the manga and anime, exemplified best by the masterful direction, which makes great use of elements like camera placement, showcased best in this scene where there's not a hint of fan service in sight, yet every angle is so sensual. Oh shit, wrong show. I mean, in this scene, with D's head splattering against the camera as if it were physically there to demonstrate how it plays with perspective, in addition to its stylized creativity in a scene with extremely detailed facial features to set the mood, before morphing them and using them as a transition into D's regeneration. And that kind of thing is littered throughout the show, like the abstract title cards that introduce everyone that, despite being shown to fade through objects because they're not physically present in the world, suddenly become part of the joke when D breaks the fourth wall by interacting with them and complaining about its obnoxious placement.
Fuck, it's genius.
And that itself plays into the subversion the source material already makes exhaustive use of, exhibiting exactly how well the anime understands what it's adapting while simultaneously functioning as a way to make the anime stand out in its new visual medium. Just like CR929 stands out by subscribing to my Patreon, which you can do too because I'm... The director adds this additional flair while still maintaining the emotion and comedic timing in every scene, performing a balancing act so precarious that you won't even notice how many scenes are actually CGI just because of how well it's all implemented. It gets worse. However, it's because of the fact that it's all so well done that it actually functions as a double-edged sword, because while it was no secret that the anime isn't laden with fluid Sakuga-esque animation, it becomes much more noticeable how cheap it actually looks when this directorial flair I've mentioned all but vanishes after the first 3 episodes.
Oh no.
And when combined with a change in the narrative that sidelines the more popular characters, it's understandable how some may feel that the anime has taken a bit of a nosedive. But that's honestly the only real flaw I found with the show, and since it's a 24-episode production, it's likely that it'll eventually recover in the next big arc anyway. Probably. It's not uncommon for this to occur in a seasonal anime, as even something like JJK suffers from it, so it's not all that surprising that it happened in the first place, but even those hurdles can't truly hold back the overwhelming appeal and charm Ranger Reject exudes. Thus it remains as both an enjoyable show to watch and one of the best anime this season.